Good day, and welcome to my first sermon. I kind of changed it up. I was going to give a sermon on salvation this morning, but I decided not to. At the very last minute, actually last night and early this morning, I rewrote a lot of it, so I do have some notes, so you'll see me looking down. I'm going to give a little bit different for the first time out. I'm going to explain a little bit why I became a pastor, and I also started a nonprofit, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Next Sunday, I'll give the sermon on salvation, and you need to tune in for that one because it's going to be a good one. A lot of things you don't really realize until someone kind of gives you a little bit of an outlook away from the church perspective. But today, what I'm going to do is I want to talk a little bit about what made me want to become a pastor. But first, I'd just like to say a little blessing, if you don't mind. So, Father, bless my viewers and hope that their family and their friends are all in good health and hold them in their hands. I also ask that you bless this ministry and help this ministry and the nonprofit to grow so that we can help as many people as we can together. In Jesus' name I ask, amen. Thank you. So this morning, one of the things I want to talk about is what made me become a minister. Growing up, I had a pretty rough life. Good life, but a rough life. It seems like every time I started to get my head above water and things always went wrong. But somehow, I always seemed to get through it. I did a lot of praying, a lot of help, but I get through it. I was a carpenter for about 25 years, building houses. Then about 18 years ago, I got tired of being outside in the weather, building houses and being out in the snow, shoveling off lumber. So I took up some schooling and I became an over-the-road truck driver. I did that for the last 18 years. Now I traveled all over the country, from coast to coast, from the south to the north. I've been in every state except Alaska, and I'm hoping to get there before I go see the man above. That's on my bucket list. But I guess about 18 months ago, it's the first time in about 15 years I got to take a really nice vacation. And I like the outdoors. I like camping and I like fishing. So I went up to Maine. And while I was up there, I got up there on a Friday night. Saturday morning I got up and I went to go do a little fishing. I went down to the lake, doing a little bit of fishing. I came back just before lunch. Went to sit down and have lunch, and I didn't feel good. So, being a guy kind of bullheaded, I didn't do much about it. I just kind of sat on the porch, was looking at the woods and watching the water and that. I couldn't feel like going back fishing. I just didn't feel right. That night I tried to lay down and I ended up getting very, very sick. And that happened all night. I got up the next morning and I felt very, very bad. And again, I didn't do nothing about it. I didn't go seek no medical help. But about noon, I felt so bad and my body just went limp. I mean, totally numb. The woman who owned the campground, she came over. She got two of the local neighbors. They came over and helped me. They called a medical unit and an ambulance. They came, took me to the hospital. And up in Maine, the hospital is about 45 minutes away. So it took the ambulance about 45 minutes to get to me once they called them. And then it took 45 minutes to get up there. Now, once I got up there, they did a bunch of tests and they found out that I had taken a stroke. And the doctors told me that because I waited so long, I was in pretty serious trouble. So I ended up spending that whole night. They did all kinds of tests. In the morning, the doctors told me that I looked pretty glim that it was going to take a lot of rehab and a lot of work on my part to get better, because they figured I was going to be paralyzed. I was paralyzed. About half of my body was not working at all. I could walk a little bit with a little help, but not too good. That day they did a lot of tests, and that evening a minister came into my room. He asked if he could sit with me and talk to me, and when he did, he said, "Do you mind if I pray with you?" And I told him, "No, not at all." So he sat down and he prayed with me. He laid his hand on me and he said, he asked God to give me some help. That night they gave me some medicine to help me sleep. When I woke up in the morning, I got up and walked out to the nurse's desk, tried to find out what time breakfast was and if they could make sure I got breakfast. And the nurses were astounded of my ability. They brought the doctor in, they brought a physical therapist in, they made me take a walk up and down the hall, they made me take a stress test, made me climb some steps, and they told me it was a miracle. They couldn't believe how well I had done in one day. And I have to say, it has to do with the man above. So I kind of believe that I got to share his word so that the miracle he did on me, he can do on others. So today, I'm starting my ministry. Now, what I'm going to do is, most churches, if you read the Bible, they tell you that in the Bible that you're supposed to give tithes to the church, which that money is supposed to be going to help fund the church, but it's also supposed to help the local people in the area that need help. Well, most churches, they don't get that much money, so a lot of that money don't ever go to help anybody. By the time the churches get their money, the only thing that it does is pay their bills, pay their employees. Me, on the other hand, the very first thing I did is I opened a nonprofit. So anything that I earn from this or from YouTube or I get donated goes directly into the nonprofit. My books on my nonprofit are going to be open to the general public. You can look at them anytime you'd like to find out exactly where the money came in and where the money went out to. My nonprofit's mission is, there's a lot of homeless people in this world, and a large percentage of that is elderly people that live in vehicles. My goal is to build a small campground that will be absolutely free, so that the elderly people would have a place to park without being harassed, because today, the way our government is going, a lot of the people that park in their vehicles, they're getting ticketed, they're getting their vehicles towed, they're even end up doing some jail time. These are people that cannot afford to even live, and now they're getting other expenses from the police and that. So my mission for my nonprofit is to try to build some place that the elderly people and the people that live in their vehicles have a place to park without being harassed, have a place where they can lay their head down at night and have a comfortable sleep without worrying about someone knocking on their door and telling them they have to move in the middle of the night or getting a ticket. So my ministry is going to be as much as I can do, and I like camping and fishing. My ministry won't always be here. My sermons will be all over the place. I'm going to try to do a lot of dispersed camping near some woods, forest, near the lakes. Hopefully, I'd like to be able to get out west again, where I drove with my truck. It's absolutely beautiful out there. And I'm going to preach from wherever my location is. As I've always wanted to be a minister, but I can just not see myself inside of a church between four walls trying to preach to some congregation day in and day out. That would be boring to me. So I made my own ministry, and this way I can preach where I want, when I want, and using the internet, I can preach to anybody in the world that will watch. So in my ministry, I have, my email is pastorfrankstrubel@gmail.com. I will put that in the description. So if you could please subscribe. If you have any questions about the ministry or the nonprofit, please leave me a comment, or you can contact me directly on the email. I also connected with a company called Zephyr, which will be in this description. They are a company that gathers income for all my donations. It'll go through them. They are a nonprofit company, or excuse me, they are a company that works with nonprofit. They do not take one single penny for collecting the money and sending it to the banks of the nonprofit. This way, all the money, 100% of the money that gets donated in or gets paid to me through YouTube will go into the nonprofit. It will start off a little slow. We'll try to get a small piece of property, just build a couple little sites and a couple little pit toilets, just so they have some place to park. And in the future, we're hoping that we can grow it more and more. I've contacted a couple people on the internet that work with government grants, and now that I'm starting, they're going to start working with me and help me look for government grants, help me apply for government grants, so that we can grow faster than the internet will allow me. Next Sunday, we will be having a Sunday service, and most likely it'll be on the lake next Sunday. And it will be next Sunday at 10 a.m. Please come. Please subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment. We need to grow this channel as fast as we can. I need to raise as much money as I can, because I want to make sure that these elderly people that live in their vehicles can have a good night's sleep, a safe night's sleep, without being any type of harassment or moving or waking up in the middle of the night because they think they heard someone outside of their vehicle. It's a shame that people, once they get a certain age, become, not eligible for any type of government help. The government helps everybody else, but they don't help our seniors. Our poor seniors are left on their own to fend. And anybody who collects Social Security and that, you know that it's not a lot. Unless you were very fortunate while you were younger and you put away enough money for a good retirement plan, you can't live on Social Security. You can't pay mortgage or a rent in a house today on Social Security. So the mission of the nonprofit is to help them. That is my goal in life. And so, please, remember, if you can, we will appreciate if you'll donate to the channel. We appreciate if you comment on the channel. We appreciate if you'll subscribe to the channel. And next Sunday, we will have a full sermon instead of just a little explanation of why I wanted to become a minister, because God laid his hand on me and healed me. You think healing a crippled hand is a miracle? Well, when you can't walk or move and he heals your whole body, that's a miracle. And I need to share that miracle with as many people as I can, and to let them know that he can still work. He still does miracles. And today is my first sermon on the internet. And I just like to say thank you very much, and God bless you all. And I hope everybody on this internet will share my sermons, share my email, and make sure that we grow as fast as we can. I just like to say God bless you, and thank you very much. And I will see you next Sunday at 10 a.m. for a full sermon. Thank you.